Right.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Hey, good
Hi.
evening. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
And
Good evening.
good evening. Ready for a very short burst, amazing conversation with the theme of 2024 Women's Day and 5 fantastic women leaders from Delhi chapter.
Great
Just
to be here, Suparna.
And this is just a brainstorming and a heartstorming, being women and all that. And just to, kind of share our experiences and what is our experience and what is our vision for leaders who are women in the chapter. So if it's okay with you, Sandhya, we'll start with the senior most. And I invite you to share with us what it means to be here.
One word is fantabulous, and that kind of encompasses a whole lot of things. So I'll just go back to a little bit and tell you why I'm here and how it has happened and all of that, very briefly. Coaching is just simply my ikigai. So it's like, creating those ripples of transformation and just lots of ripples that go far and wide. And coach education was that for me, has been for a decade and more. I've been a chapter member for a long, long time. Maybe getting to be 10 years, maybe, I'm not sure. And honestly, it is now that I really felt like, felt that vibe here to take up something on my own, give back to the chapter, and add this to my, just align it with that ikigai, that purpose that I'm jumping out of bed for every morning. It's not, I don't know, it's amazing energy. It's so fulfilling to be connecting with people. And it is the environment, just, yes, 5 of us here. There are 17 of us on this board this year. And there's so much innovation. There's so much innovation in terms of processes, in terms of managing the chapter. I think it's an all-time high. I haven't seen that in the last 8 years or 9 years that I've been here as part of this chapter. And the beautiful part is that, all right, I'm doing what I do, right? Credentials as a portfolio and all of that. That's my expertise. That's what I'm doing here. But the learning every day from other members, other board members is just amazing. It keeps you on your toes. I think no matter what the experience, no matter how many years of experience as a coach or a coach educator I have, there's so much more to learn and not be in my comfort zone.
Wow, Sandhya, you just called out one core thing which, as coaches, we all try and practice is to have a beginner's mindset.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
to be open to learning. So despite the phenomenal, experience and years of being a teacher, you still are very much a student.
Absolutely. I'm learning from each one, the members, the board members, everyone. And the beautiful part is that it is just, everyone's creativity is encouraged. I think we are supporting each other. I at least I get that vibe, that energy.
Yeah, I think you're calling out something which is which has developed as a culture in this group of people who are leading the chapter. And if I may, call it, it seems to be a high trust environment,
Yes, yes,
which
absolutely.
is where we
Very
are
happy.
leaning in together, as leaning in could be, and collaborating, and thinking of win-win scenarios, even with the work which each of our portfolios entail.
Yeah,
I have experienced personally in my portfolio that there are so many of you who've kind of come into the work that I'm trying to do. And it's so reciprocal. The feeling is so reciprocal, is so mutual. So
correct.
as a woman, Sandhya, do you think something about the number of women who are in the leadership team, which is contributing to this?
Yes, absolutely. And it's an amazing number this time. What is the exact number? There's 5 of us and 5 more. No, 3 more. Correct?
Yeah, there is. Debeshi would have the right numbers.
There's 7. Yeah, thank you so
we are
much.
7, right?
17 of us, and I think we are 9 of us.
9 of us.
9 of us.
Wow, wow. Mythology.
Bit of myth in the making.
Yes, mythology, the 9. This is Shakti in its true form. 9 of us.
And
Yeah.
I hope we are not overwhelming the men in our leadership team by just,
I
you
don't
know,
know. I don't think so. I think they are very, very supportive and they bring a lot to the table. I mean, just somewhere that gender thing is just not there. It's just
yeah,
one
yeah.
big team. And as you said, it's a very fantastic environment of trust that we've created for ourselves. I think everyone's contributed to that.
Wow.
So, of course, as a woman, there's lots of juggling where I juggle time. I've just
Mm.
popped in from one session, shut off one Zoom call, and I'm here. And there is work. There is, of course, that organization we all run called our home. So this is an added thing, but I'm just enjoying every moment of it.
No conversation about women would be complete without calling out the multitasking, which we have kind of, perfected that art. So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Just think of it, look at the numbers, 9 women, and each one of us with those 9 hands and 9 arms. Can you imagine the kind of work we are juggling?
Thank you, Sandhya. That was such an amazing share.
Thanks.
And right after you, I'd invite Sangeeta, who's one of the oldest chapter members and now leading the charge with Cherish initiatives. Sangeeta, please, would you share what is it that makes this portfolio and this space very special for you?
Suparna, I remember back in 2018 when I came, the first Coach Connect, there was Cindy and David Peace who was speaking about coaching across cultures.
Oh,
And here I am with Bhavna. And, again, it's all about collaboration. It's all about cherishing each other. It's all about creating that beautiful space that we are leaning on each other's with the core competency cultivating trust and safety. And who other than a woman coach can inculcate that trust, that beautiful, authentic space for each us to thrive.
I couldn't agree with you more, Sangeeta. This is uncanny, how when we look back and we can join the dots. And what is jumping out is that your theme and your work, the seeds were planted way back.
Yeah.
And now is the
Yes.
time where it's beginning to bloom. And I know that you and Bhavna, you're touching a lot of hearts and across continents. So gratifying to really hear that. And a bit about Sangeeta. What do you think when you look into the screen? There are 5 women. What's the feeling which comes up for you in this space?
You know, Suparna, I was in this event today, which was known as Les Extraordinaires. And this was a event where there were more than 100 women, um, rural, urban, and they were all very, very independent. And I was representing the life and leadership coaching. And so
Ah,
there was few words which came in, which I would like to share with all of you all. When I look at all of you, it's like, I don't know if I am extraordinary or not. I do know that ordinary can be great. I don't know if I'm deserving or not. I do know that I am worthy. I don't know if I am special or not. I do know that I love myself fully and live a life full of gratitude. Gratitude of being a woman, gratitude of being a daughter, gratitude of being a wife, and gratitude of being able to play all the beautiful roles in life. And I will add gratitude of being a coach.
Absolutely.
Sangeeta, you just touched a nerve, when you use that phrase, the work which you're doing, that I am worthy. And that's such a woman's thing. I mean, I'm not saying that men don't struggle with it, but self-esteem issues and self-worth issues, I think in the
Yes.
work that we do as coaches, that seems to be a very stubborn theme, which I'm sure, we keep hitting that block. So
That's one reason.
hmm,
Yeah, I brought this up because we need to continuously do something, and that's one reason we multitask also.
yeah, yeah.
And we like to talk, women like to talk, but do we create that authentic space to be able to listen? Coaching presence is the next core competency which comes to my mind. I just keep going deeper and deeper into the new competencies. And when I look at them, I said, wow, that's so wonderful. So, am I really worthy enough?
Interesting that you should pick out that one competency, which is listening. And I think all of us here would agree that that is like such a master key in the work which we do. And there are like studies which keep telling us that women, from an evolutionary standpoint, because we've been holding that social space and we've been putting families together and raising families. So our listening skills are, I think there is enough research to support that, but I'd be happy to be, proved wrong. But women are better listeners. We do listen for emotional cues and for undertones in conversations. So hooray for women coaches. A bit of
Yay,
rah-rah there.
Suparna, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Sangeeta. That was such a lovely share. And with that, I'm going to turn to Debeshi now. Debeshi,
Yes, ma'am.
I know you got stuff to say, so I'll just ask you to please share. What's your message?
My message is pretty straightforward and something which I've been sharing on and on because that's not a very common conversation. So, like Bhavna, I joined around 2021 December, the chapter, and I come from a background of practicing architecture. So it's a professional practice. And when I joined the chapter, I was also expecting the same. There would be conversation about, how we can have it as a professional practice. But it was different. I was lucky to be able to work with the team of other leaders who were women. And I could see, I witnessed the 2022 conclave online. And there in this, when we talked about uh, how the professional practices emerging in India, I saw that happening. That gave me assurance and endorsed my idea, my vision of how coaching, the practice of coaching is going to be in India. And thanks to two leaders, I'd like to take their name, Priya Sharma Sheikh, President Mumbai chapter, and Vijay from Chennai. Both are very different people, but they demonstrated leadership. Being a woman, I have seen them, like the balance that Sangeeta talked about, the 9 hands which Sandhya you talked about. I've seen all of that and more. The capacity to listen, to give, to create those authentic spaces filled me with awe. Like, if this is what it takes to become a leader, I would sign up for the same. And that's how I, joined this board. And it's lovely to have friends who are, I know that, if I'm not there, somebody else has got my back. And we all are very clear that we wanted to make it easy for the next person to come. We all are simplifiers. With beauty and grace, we are bringing our creative spirit, experimenting it, failing it at times, but somewhere we are enjoying it. It's going to be a year, and look at us. We can pick, call anybody at any time of the day and ask for help. This has become home, right? And even after I know when we leave that board, I would see more, women coming up, because this is a very beautiful and powerful space that we are holding it together. Like, Bhavna, we say many in body and one in mind. I think we are forming that, like one ICF, and the heart beats with us. So that's what I want to share with all the women who are listening to this. Maybe you will be listening to this video in 2025, 2026, 2030, 2040, but be assured that it started long before us, and it is your responsibility to continue. And we are counting on you. That's what I have to share, Suparna.
Wow, Debeshi, that was a very collected and it's a message with a vision. And also it has very broad strokes of inspiration. So women in our country chapters have inspired you to join. So that's like, we have great precedents and we have a phenomenal present. And we have lots of work to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And on the same note, I would invite Suparna. You are doing this great project on Ignite as the director of community. You are going and working, with a section of people who don't get the gift of coaching. So, and we're going to complete the project and celebrate it on 16th March. So tell me how it has been for you, and what is the future looking like?
Thanks, Debeshi. If I put my mind to this and my own little journey, I took it up, frankly, with no big vision, but simply because there were some people who believed in me. And looking back, every time I've achieved something or done something phenomenal, it's because somebody believed in me. And that's how I volunteered for this particular portfolio and the work. And it's just, I feel like things are just warming up. The project I'm working on is Ignite, and I can feel the heat in a very good way. And we all know that, we are all women in the kitchen. Nothing happens, nothing cooks without heat. So we need fire, we need heat, and that is absolutely critical for any transformation and any state change. वो आग लगनी चाहिए, दिल में आग होनी चाहिए, वैसी आग लगनी चाहिए. So I think I've been very fortunate to be given a portfolio with a project which has a very powerful global vision. And in this, at the moment, there is Kathleen Lehanda, who's a global director, and our very own Uttara Patnaik, who's been a phenomenal guide and support every step of the way. It's only gratitude for the support and the leaning in I get from the women in this space. It's just interesting that there are women. And for all the team which has been put together, some of you are here as well. And I cannot tell you, I had volunteered in the past for social impact projects for our chapter. And what I'm trying to do here, and this is something in the process, is to put the team together. And this is where I think connection and discovery of my own chapter members, that's been the biggest thing. I cannot claim to look so far and say that, the work which you're doing, this is the impact. We are beginning to roll. And I'm sure the testimonials will come. But there is this quote, never doubt a group of small people, who meaning to do great work. And that is where true transformation anywhere in the world happens, with a group of like-minded, similar-minded, and well-intentioned human beings. And in this particular process, I think the connection with the chapter members, getting to know them in such a special way. We know our work as coaches is all about, a big part of it is about, answering the big questions as to why am I here? What's the purpose of my life? We are asking the questions for ourselves. We, in the work which we do with, people we coach, these questions inevitably come up. What's the biggest strength? What's a God-gifted talent and gift? How are we going to use it? How do we honor that? And what's the highest calling? It's not just performance, end of the day. It's not just work-life balance. It is that consuming passion. And I think this particular project, it is giving me the permission of a lifetime to help align. For me personally, why am I here? I'm going to discover this along the way. I cannot say that, this is my vision and that's why. Of course, I have an idea. But sometimes we get the clarity and the passion, and not in the work which we do all alone. It's because the work is happening with so many powerful people. As coaches, I think the profession is a service. It's not just any profession.
Absolutely.
And if we can come to that very powerful alignment, and I think I've heard you all say this in different ways, that if we are looking to align, and in that, sometimes, a much bigger vision can come about than what we can dream alone and what we are dreaming together. When I look at the work which Sangeeta and Bhavna are doing in Cherish, and I am inspired by their partnership. And it was such a joy to spend time with them. And in our conversation, I'm sure Bhavna and Sangeeta, the possibilities are endless. And as women, we are excited in a very particular way. I think we are looking to serve the feminine and to bring the feminine power into play moving forward. So yeah, that's my message for Women's Day.
Thank you. Thank you
Future of
so
leadership is
Yeah.
feminine.
Right.
Thanks for asking that question, Debeshi. Thanks.
And when you were sharing, so many emotions were coming up for me as well, Suparna. And one thing which is emerging is we have stretched ourselves by stretching the canvas of service. And we are also inviting so many people, which we call our home. And talking about home, I think, Bhavna has invited the other countries to India.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Phenomenal.
taking India
Yeah.
outside. So Bhavna is the director of memberships and working with Sangeeta on Cherish. So why don't you share about this Indian members interacting with others and expanding what we called home.
So I think thank you so much. And I've learned so much from each one of you. And like Ikigai is something which I share with Sandhya. A lot to learn from the energy space from Sangeeta. Suparna, I think the deep conversations we've had and aligning and systems that Debeshi creates. So I think we are a good team working together, right? Towards Cherish, I think how it began was the seed of creating sustainable mindsets, right? So while a lot is happening outside, superficially, but are we really cherishing the person, irrespective of the culture or any other boundaries? So that is where it was born. So that's the kind of legacy that is my dream to leave when I leave the world. So, it began from there and it kept flowing, is what I would say, because that's the way life happens. And people started joining this and Sangeeta, and now we kind of brainstormed, and then it moved into South African chapter, who wanted to kind of collaborate in this cross-cultural mission. And we are having this triad peer coaching where everything is aligned to, again, a lot of depth, which is the core values of ICF. So it's, again, not just peer coaching. How do I bring professionalism? How do I really bring those values alive? Was the reason we started this. And it's coming, it's shaping up still in the journey. It's been a beautiful journey, a lot of learning, a lot of growing that has happened for me as well, as a woman, as a leader in ICF, and overall. I mean, learning in terms of the amount of depth that I have today versus what probably, a few years earlier. So, yeah. So moving towards it. I've written a little poem for my journey in the entire this 1 year and the entire process. So that's something that I would love to share.
Please do, Bhavna. We are waiting for your poem.
Yeah. So this is celebrating women coach leaders of ICF Delhi Board. Pride in my words as I join hands to celebrate womanhood with each one of you today. So unique our identities and yet so one in purpose. Representing membership, cherishing each one, just as I cherish myself. I wear my robe of empathy to serve the position of responsibility. We launched our Cherish initiative to respect and nurture each life as it blooms under the chapter identity and leaves no one behind. Today, we ripple its effect globally and hold hands under the banner of DEIB for sustainability and for the world to be free. I do who I am. My actions match my being. As a coach, I serve organizations and leaders, mentor coaches, as they reach their credentialing milestones, adding feathers to their cap. What defines me is my pie, to be true to myself, while I leave a legacy alongside ICF, aligned to creating transformations throughout our world communities. So that's something which I wrote today, and I thought it's a journey, and I'm sure it is going to keep growing this year as well, right?
I love that robe of empathy. I could just visualize all of us in our capes.
Like the
Oh,
invisible clock of Harry Potter, you have it, and
beautiful.
you have to believe that you have.
And I think with the position of responsibility, being conscious of that robe is also, something. And one is empathy. There are many others which we can keep adding.
No, like that. This is like such a the superhero robe. The first cloak is empathy. We've got others, but yeah, empathy is a great one. And Bhavna, I mean, just want to share that as part of your Cherish initiative, I would very confidently say that you have expanded the canvas in one genius stroke. It's amazing to connect with people who are across cultures. That there is something very unique about it. I think if you talk about being inclusive, that is one thing in action in the Cherish initiative. So very well done. I must congratulate you.
Thank you so much. Good to hear this, Suparna.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know we can all go on, but let's say one word for people who are, all these women and men who are listening to us. It's just not for the Women's Day. It is for the future that we live in. So if on 2025 we all meet, what is that we would want to happen? Any thoughts? Sandhya, Sangeeta, Bhavna, Suparna, anything?
The thought which is coming to me is being your authentic self. Just being who you are. So in a space of coaching, if we are playing the role of a coach, because I represent peer coaching. So then what as a coach you are doing at that moment? Are you in a space of doing or are you in a space of being? Similarly, if you're playing the role of a coachee, what is it that you are saying or doing at that moment of time to create that authentic self that you truly want to be? So for me, if I listen to this in 2025 and beyond, it's like, when you were saying, Debeshi, that when people hear it year after year, what came to me is a part of me was already present in my grandmother. Yeah, even before it was in my mother's womb, I was already present in my grandmother. And that was my authentic seed.
Beautiful. So, to
Yeah,
really,
and to build on
Nice
that,
smiling.
Sangeeta.
I'm so much in awe of what you're sharing. Like it's giving me goosebumps, right? So the future coaches, or the women who are going to come, we are creating the seed right now, or maybe it's already being created. It really feels awesome, Sangeeta. Thank you so much for sharing it. Yes, Suparna, you were sharing something.
Yeah, I was listening to Sangeeta, and I know the word authentic is such a darling of in a coaches community. And just to build on that, who's the real me? So sometimes women, we play small, and I think somewhere internally, our work as coaches with other women and for women who would listen back to this is that when we break any ideas of limitations which we have put on ourselves, we break that barrier for all the women in the past, the generations behind us, and we make a promise to the future.
Wow. One action. But
Absolutely. Believe
yeah,
and break the bonds.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
So I
one
think
thought,
what I
one
would
action
want
is
to
yeah,
add here
please.
to authenticity and to what Suparna was saying was that next year we would all be blooming, right? While the seeds have been sown this year, let's all bloom together again. That diverse, beautiful, but at the same time bond together to show our infinite potential now, right?
Yeah, Bhavna, and let's water each other's seeds. And I think what the thing is coming out very clearly that we're not competing with each other, at a very that stage, and in a very traditional thing. There is so much about, being visible, marketing, creating our brand. And a lot of us coaches struggle with that. And that scarcity mindset that, there is this much work and, we should get there first. I think to come to this mindset of abundance, we have to believe in each other, play win-win, high trust, and water each other's seeds, metaphorically. It's one garden, and there's space for everyone to bloom. And if you look at nature, you don't have to look far. There's infinite variety. There's so much which can happen in this much of soil. And, we have much, much bigger space. So let's become furious gardeners.
Absolutely true.
Probably that's the
Debeshi.
reason we celebrate Women's Day in
Yes,
springtime.
yes,
Oh, it's a
We are
absolutely
all
perfect,
true.
it's a
beautiful,
We're
colorful
going to
perfect.
flowers.
bloom. Yeah.
It's
So
Great,
I come,
Bhavna.
yeah, I come from the background of city design, right? So there's this concept of competitive cities, which was there earlier, but now is the
Mhm.
time of cooperative cities. And the
Wow.
benefit is when cities cooperate, city region happens, the entire region rises up. It's
Yes,
just not
it's
in
very interesting.
silos.
What is meant by this, Debeshi? I know we are like time bound, but just
So for example, like, if you look at China, there's Guangzhou, there are different districts which have complementary, each city. There's a dormitory city, there's a commercial
Mm.
city, there's a transportation, manufacturing city, all
Oh.
of them with different, their branding. They're not competing with each other. There's a port and there is a city where
Mm.
people stay, and there's a city where everybody goes and work. There's a agricultural city. So all of that comes together and it forming a
Yeah.
cooperative region. I feel, and it's bigger place where you're creating the space to thrive. So we are creating that cooperative network, that space to thrive.
Foundation.
Absolutely. And I would want, like, next year March will be the last month for us to be in the
Yeah.
board. I would want to introduce the new board members who would be there. We'd love to have the elections early and, at least 4 5 months. Work with them, handhold the new members and, they should be
Nurture,
ready,
nurture.
nurture, and they should
Yeah.
bloom and they should be ready by April to start. That's my wish. Sandhya, you
Such
want to share?
beautiful thoughts. Yeah, I'm just trying to, I'm overwhelmed with all that has come through. And, when you water those seeds, Suparna, I have this perspective as a woman, my vision for women and my vision and dream for us as coaches. As women, to really build, inculcate the qualities of the blue sapphire, self
Oh my.
resilience and abundance.
So amazing.
And of course, it's just so beautiful, right? You cannot, when you talk about it, you visualize that bright blue sapphire. So that's what that's my vision for women always.
That stone is so fascinating and so mesmerizing. It
Absolutely.
holds a lot of mystery. And I think, again, the
Absolutely
feminine, the
defines women, doesn't it? Mystery, resilience, abundance, and self-worth.
and a bit mysterious. So keep guessing and keep
Let's
watching.
stay
this
that way.
more.
Let's stay that way. And to your point about, Sangeeta, you spoke about being yourself as a client and as a coach. I would just sum it up for us coaches. It is about, I believe that you can take your client only as deep as you've been yourself. And it is not the same depth, it is not the same life, it is not the same situation. But that growth mindset and that focus inwards, evolving as we go along, is going to help us build that capacity to really take our clients on that path. And that path is truly the inner journey, right? Coaching is a very structured approach to spirituality, I would say.
Absolutely agree with you, Sandhya. Totally.
Helps you, it triggers that focus inwards.
And interesting that you should say that it's the work with our clients. And here we are, the work for our chapter.
Yeah.
I think the depth and the scale and the vision can become pure if the intention is pure, if our own growth and development as mental, emotional, and spiritual beings, we are, constantly refining ourselves and, bringing that clarity and bringing that what is called the authentic is the real self, which is untainted by unhealthy ambition, untainted by personal, personal benefit. If the more we do it for others, the more we do it for everyone, like, in a family, nobody's competing with each other in a normal, healthy family. We are very happy if somebody does well. And if we make this to be that kind of a family where we are cheering each other from the sides and we are in for, encouraging and motivating everyone to grow, I think that is the real deal here. And
Absolutely. It's
and
the
that,
intent that counts.
yeah,
I think this conversation itself is so relaxing, and it's like it's totally in sync, isn't it? We can feel it flowing.
no, I think the connection in this conversation has not happened, at least for me. I haven't had this kind of a conversation. So really want to thank the people who suggested this. There's a lovely and sunny, I think it's Sunny's idea.
Yes.
It's not
And
here.
the power behind this the throne, as you would say.
It's a
Right.
man.
Has seen, yes. I
Oh,
don't think any one of us thought of this, but
Right.
yeah, that's what I said. The whole gender thing or whatever, we are one huge team.
no,
And
abs-
huge team we are. I don't think any other chapter has this fantastic.
I think we've been like, talking for the longest time, inclusion is us, is this,
Yeah.
but it's inclusion means everyone. So yes, of course, the men in our chapter, I mean, a big toast and a big hurrah and cheers to all the masculine members here. And we are missing them in this conversation, and there would be another conversation which would have something which would be very unique to that group and the people who are part of this. So this is the chemistry here. And for tonight, this is phenomenal. And I'm going away richer and happier and with a very feel-good hum here. It's amazing.
So are
Amazing.
we.
Seems
Completely
like,
Shining,
resonate with that.
sparkling, much more brighter.
yeah,
Yeah.
Starry Night masterpiece by Van Gogh. Like, that's the canvas that we are creating in our own way. It's a starry night.
Wow. Yeah. Van Gogh. This world was never meant for someone as beautiful as you. This is something very tragic about Van Gogh's own experience, that he was so sensitive, but the times in which he was born was maybe not the time to accept the beauty of Van Gogh. So yeah, maybe we can, in our own way, create spaces in this world where we can celebrate, we go beyond accepting, we celebrate that which is different and that which is beautiful.
Great.
Happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day,
Happy
Happy
everyone.
Women's Day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank
Bye-bye.
you all.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Did we take a
Bye.
picture, Debeshi, before we just say sign off? Did we take a picture?
Just a second.